So, the Switch 2 might have 3 cartridges.
What?
Let's talk about it. Everybody, thanks for coming back to the channel. So we got some confusing news to jump in today. I know you saw the thumbnail and you heard the intro to the videos. What is this guy talking about now? So some news just dropped the other day from Marvelous about their new Rune Factory release that's coming out, right? And they were explaining on their website how the Switch 2 cartridge would work. They're doing what Nintendon't, which is providing you real information. In that article, it says that the Switch 2 edition will be on a 64GB card. That includes, in full, the Nintendo Switch game and the upgrade pack. That's really cool. We're getting a real proper physical. But then they go on to say something very interesting. There's no need to download the full game. Simply insert the card into either the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Switch 2 console, and the correct version will launch automatically. And our friends at Doesn't Play chimed in and said, this statement from Marvelous Games about the Switch 2 edition for Rune Factory shows how the cross-gen physical release works. Card fits into both systems, also no need to download the full game, probably as the physical games are just keys crowd scratching their heads. But they're not the only ones scratching their heads. I am scratching my head too, because are you telling me that the Switch 2 has Switch 2 only cartridges, like the first party titles, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong? They have key card releases, which nobody cares about those whatsoever, unless you're a crazy person. And then 3 Switch 2 hybrid cartridges that work also on the Switch 1. So 3 cartridges on 1 hardware. And the thing that makes this so confusing is because we had news come out recently that the cartridges for Switch 1 and Switch 2 are completely different, right? That Switch 2 cartridges would not fit into the Switch 1 because the way the cartridge was designed differently, the shape of the plastic and whatever. So now you're telling me that that's not how it works, that Switch 2 cartridges will fit inside the Switch 1. But this may be a case-by-case basis, that you don't know which releases are going to have it. The packaging on the Switch 2 cases isn't doing anybody favors, right? The big blurb at the bottom of the box doesn't help. It's very confusing. People have been scratching their heads for weeks trying to figure out what that means. The key card blurb at the bottom of the box, that's also confusing. There's nothing to go off of, so you know what you're actually buying. An awesome developer at Calcat Games made a mock-up of how they thought Nintendo could have improved on the packaging and made it much easier to understand. See, at the bottom of the box, it says it in plain English. No way you can't be confused. But I know that there are people that don't read. I work in customer service. They don't read. So I took that artwork and I went ahead at the top of the red border where the Switch 2 logo is. I put a Switch 1 plus Switch 2 logo. It may look kind of ugly, but when people see that there's both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 logo on that case, they're immediately going to know that it works in both hardware systems. And they'll know what they're getting. And this is a way that Nintendo could have made these hybrid Switch 2 cartridges much easier to understand. But I don't know, guys. This news is so confusing. I was like, I've never heard in my life the reverse of backwards compatibility. It's forward compatibility. Why release a physical Nintendo Switch version at all for these games if the Switch 2 version is going to work in both hardware? Marvelous should just eliminate the Switch 1 release and only put up the Switch 2 version. That just confuses the market. People are going to buy the Switch 1 version, which is the only version that has the limited edition, and not understand that if they bought the Switch 2 version, they would be saving money because they're getting 2 copies of the game instead of 1. Guys, I don't know. Like, this has been a very confusing mess, and it seems like we're going to have to rely on our friends like Doesn't Play and Nintendo Revised to get these games, get this hardware, and be the testers to figure out this crazy circus that is the Switch 2, so you know what you're buying when you buy it. And I don't mean to be overly negative with this. If there really is these third hybrid cartridges, I think that's pretty cool, because you're buying one physical and you're getting multiple copies of the game. If Breath of the Wild would have just had its DLC on the cartridge, and it's one of these hybrid cartridges, it would have been the complete ultimate edition. It would have made the Asian English copy that I just talked about in my previous video obsolete, to where it would have been an inferior version to buy. But because it still has the DLC on the cartridge, it trumps the Switch 2 edition, in my opinion. Because I will always say that more gameplay and content is more valuable than just an upgrade pack. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think in the comments below, because man, this is baffling me. Like, I have never seen a console launch be this frustrating and confusing before in my life. And there have been some weird business decisions in the past, things that have frustrated me and made no sense, but I haven't seen anything this insane since the Xbox One launch, y'all. Like, I just don't understand what is going on. And you know what? I'm not even mad anymore. I'm just laughing, because if you would have asked me this is what we would have done with the Switch 2, I would have said there's no way Nintendo would have done any of these decisions. This sounds crazy. It sounds like they're on drugs. And guys, I feel like somebody put something in my water. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, happy gaming, happy collecting, and let's all one up our collection. See you in the next video, everybody. Bye.